Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. I'm Tracy Ann and this is Tracy Ann Creations. Today I have filmed for y'all how to make this adorable little faux scale using Dollar Tree items. It is so cute. I absolutely love it. So without me gabbing anymore, let's get to it. For this project, we're going to need a flowering pot from Dollar Tree, tower tumbling blocks and the cubes from Dollar Tree, 2 plaques of your choice from the Dollar Tree, 2 wooden arrows from the Dollar Tree, Gorilla Glue, paint, glue gun, and some Epsom salt. First, we're going to take the little wooden arrows and cut the ends off and sand them down smooth. And of course, you could use a little tray for this project, which they did not have any at the Dollar Tree when I was there. So take you some wood glue and put it on the sides and put these 2 together. Okay, so now I'm going to take my tower tumbling blocks and separate those, and we're going to use the lighter color ones. I'm just lining them up right here just to see how many I need to fit, and also going to take some wood glue and just start attaching them around the edges. While we let that wood glue dry on that, we're going to take these plaques, and I used a wet paper towel and just kind of placed it over the plaques, which helps the paper come off of them really well if you just leave it on there. Not too wet, but just wet enough to get the paper damp. Just take your finger, and as you can see, I'm just rubbing it until all the paper comes off. Now we're just going to give these plaques a light sanding. Flip these over and take off the sawtooth hangers. We're not going to use those, and you can use pliers, scissors, whatever it is you have on hand. Now we're going to take our Waverly antique wax and just give these a light coat. And then in the middle of this video, you'll see I actually changed my mind. So you may want to skip this step if you want the end result. You don't have to do this part. You're going to want to take a rag and wipe off any excess of the antique wax. You're going to want to do the same thing to the tray that we just made. And also remember, if you want the end result of this, you don't have to do this. You can skip this step as well. So now we're going to take our flower pot and turn it upside down, and we're going to trace it out as a template to make our scale facing with. You also can use foam board. Get your sharpest scissors out and cut that circle out. For this project, we're going to need 2 circles, so just take the one that you cut out and use it as a template and trace it out, cut that one out as well. To attach the circles, I am using this Gorilla Glue. It looks like I'm putting a whole lot on, but it's really not coming out that much. Give your cardboard pieces time to adhere properly, and then you're going to take some spackle, which I forgot to tell you you're going to need, and you're just going to put it on the cardboard and spread it out like you're spreading icing on a cake. You're going to want to let that spackle dry completely before you give it a sanding, just to kind of smooth everything out. Okay, so now take your flower pot, and I'm going to use this Kilt's chalk paint and give it 2 coats. You can use any kind of paint that you want though. You're going to do the same with the tray that we made. Give those plaques a good coat of white paint as well. I took a picture of a scale that I have, that one that hangs from the wall, and I just printed it out on my inkjet printer, and I will leave a link down below for, I think it's called Upcycled Life, of a lady that I watched on YouTube on how to use an inkjet printer to do Mod Podge. I took my circle pieces that we had made previously and just laid them over top so I could get a good measurement of what my scale size needed to be. Take your Mod Podge and give it a generous coat before placing your scale cutout on top. Make sure to rub out any air bubbles or wrinkles. While that's drying, we're going to take our 2 plaques and we're going to use some Gorilla Glue to adhere them together. To make my tray stand a little taller, I'm using this metal bracket that I got out of my crafting stash. You also can use the square blocks that you can get from the Dollar Tree, which, as you can see, I use them both. I put the square blocks up under the bottom of my metal bracket, and then I'm going to adhere them with some Gorilla Glue. To attach my little metal bracket to the blocks, I just use some hot glue. To adhere our scale facing to the flower pot, I'm just going to use some Gorilla Glue and some hot glue, and you just want to put that all around and also put some hot glue in some of the other areas that you don't put the Gorilla Glue, and then place it on there, and you're going to want to set something on top just to kind of hold it in place and let it dry. So once your piece has had time to dry, just go over it with a very generous amount of Mod Podge. I let this dry for about an hour before coming in with my sanding block and just sanding off any excess paper that may be over the edge. Now I'm just going to take some black paint that I had on hand and go around the facing of the clock. Now at this point you can do any color you want or keep following along. Now I'm just going to take some of that black paint and add it in some random places on the clock. Y'all, I lost the footage of this part, so what I did is I took some white paint and dry brushed it over the black areas on the facing of the scale, and I took Mod Podge and some cloves I put the Mod Podge down and then sprinkled the cloves over it so it would give it that rust look. I did not have any cinnamon, but this worked just fine. Now we're going to attach the scale to the base, and what we're going to use here is some of those little square blocks at the Dollar Tree and some Gorilla Glue and hot glue. You're going to have to put the square blocks under the back of this flouring pot because it's made at a slant, and if you want it level, you're going to have to have some height in the back. Y'all, I got these little condiment holders from the Dollar Tree, and it works so well to put your wood glue in. It comes out like just perfectly. Y'all don't see it here, but I do place 2 more little blocks on top of those other 2 blocks just to help hold it. And now I'm going to take the Gorilla Glue and put the scale top on. For a little more sturdiness, I'm taking 2 tumbling blocks and I'm going to place them on each side of the flouring pot just to help give it a little more sturdiness. Also, if you like the way it looks now, you can stop now, or to get the end result, just keep watching. I want to add some rust spots to this piece, so in order to do that, I'm going to take some paint and some Epsom salt and make a little mixture just to put on the edges and around the corners, just so it'll be a little bit more defined on my rust spots. You're going to want to just dab that mixture on, especially be really heavy in spots that you want a real defined rust spot. This is what happens when you don't give your glue time to adhere properly and you're impatient and you start working before everything has dried. So, which is perfectly okay because I really needed to not have it on there to do the next step anyway. Here's where I decide that I want to do the galvanized look. So I'm taking some apple barrel paint that I had on hand and different colors of gray, and we'll also be using a little black and white. And if you want the end result look, then at the beginning of the video when you paint your pot and your all your pieces, you want to paint them a dark gray. Now here we're just going to want to start stippling on the colors, and as you'll see as it goes further in that I'm normally, when I do the galvanized look, I use a dark gray to begin with as my base coat, and because I had the white I ended up putting a whole lot of gray on, so need to go with a dark gray at first. Here you want to just keep adding paint and stippling it on until you get the look that you're looking for. We're going to use the same method on our tray, and remember, if you're going to do the galvanized look, just go ahead and paint that from the beginning. Paint it a dark gray and then start stippling on your different colors of gray. I decided to start using a bigger brush because it covers more area. So when you do this, you might want to just start out with a bigger one. Okay, so now I'm taking some Mod Podge, and on the areas where we use that Epsom salt paint mixture, I'm just going to Mod Podge over it, and I'm going to use the cloves to sprinkle over it just so it will give it that rust look. Also, once you sprinkle it, you might just want to pat it in a little bit. It does help it stick and adhere better. You're going to want to do this in every area that you want to have the rust spot. So here I'm taking a dry brush and I'm just going to dust off any of that clove powder that's left on. All right, y'all, we are almost done. We're going to take that Gorilla Glue epoxy and mix it up for 20 seconds. Place it on the end of the blocks, and then we're going to put that back onto our piece and hold it there for about 5 minutes, or either place something heavy on top so that it will adhere. And once it has had time, I did it longer than 5 minutes. I would at least leave it on there for about an hour. Take it outside, give it 2 good coats of clear coat, and then you are done. And here's a look at our end result. Man, this thing turned out so cute. I absolutely love it. So, what y'all think? That scale turned out so adorable. I absolutely love it. It truly is one of my favorite pieces. I hope y'all enjoyed this video, and please subscribe, like, and share. Leave me a comment down below. Let me know what you think, and also in the description box I will leave the other videos so you can go and check those out as well. I hope y'all have a great day, and I will see y'all next time. Bye.